This is going to be a very full episode. Tony Stewart was all through the media today. Jimmie Johnson announced his fire throwback paint scheme. Who the heck wants one-day shows? Apparently a lot of NASCAR teams. And a new NASCAR channel on a very popular streaming service. We have it all on this, On the Pedal. On the Pedal, I'm Kim Simpson. Today, a very full episode of NASCAR throughout the week has dropped a lot of big news as just the week has gone on. First of all, they announced that NASCAR Heat Evolution, we saw NASCAR Heat 1, NASCAR Heat 2, NASCAR Heat 3, NASCAR Heat 4, NASCAR Heat 5, plus NASCAR Evolution, NASCAR Heat 2, NASCAR Heat 3, NASCAR Heat 4, NASCAR Heat 5, and plus Heat Evolution. They thought we were very hoping that NASCAR Heat 6 was going to be the next better thing and really help the game. But the gaming of this service really overall hasn't been the best. I mean, look, we look at NASCAR Heat and it hasn't been the best of the games that we've had yet. So maybe some people were thinking, well, what the heck is going to happen with NASCAR Heat 6? Nothing. There will not be a NASCAR Heat 6. Adam Stern reported just a few days and confirmed by the CEO of 704 Games, which is not 704 Games anymore. It's like Motorsport Games now, announcing that NASCAR Heat 5, the NASCAR Heat name will end. So whatever the next NASCAR game will be, it's not going to be called NASCAR Heat. This doesn't mean that NASCAR gaming is done. No. The same company will make the next new game. There'll be a new game in 2021. We will see new games. Don't worry, NASCAR Heat 5 was not the end. I know a lot of people were disappointed and think maybe NASCAR Heat 5 for the NASCAR Heat series was a disappointment. I saw that as well. But no, it's not ended. NASCAR Heat is just done. That name is done. There could be NASCAR 21, like NHL 20. You guys have NHL 20. We have NBA 2K 20, we have Madden 20. So we'll have NASCAR 21 maybe. We don't know what the name is. Nothing has been officially announced yet. But I think this is a turn for the better to bring a top-notch game. To be honest with you, I'm one of the ones that didn't mind the NASCAR Heat games. I really like them, enjoyed playing them. They're fun to drive on. The tracks are real life, kinda, and it's something I didn't mind. Also, in that same report, though, Adam Stern did say that IndyCar could have their own game as well. They're in development with that, which is good news for me, and I'll tell you the reasoning of that is because, look, IndyCar, NASCAR, whoever you think is better is your opinion, but for most people, video games is what just draws you towards the sports. So to be honest, for some sports, I had the video game, or for anything really. You play the video game and then you say, wow, I really wish I could go and I want to watch that weekly. For many people, NASCAR Heat, even though the game for some people is terrible, for me I like it, but that really drawed in many viewers to NASCAR television. IndyCar, who really doesn't have a game dedicated to IndyCar racing, now with the opportunity to get a game all just dedicated to NASCAR, to IndyCar, is big news because for IndyCar fans and IndyCar itself, having that game is big because, look, if you're a fan, I'm going to get the IndyCar game, and I don't watch IndyCar that much. I would still get the IndyCar game because I like IndyCar, and I just like racing games overall. So NASCAR fans get the IndyCar game, then they really think, wow, IndyCar is good. IndyCar's viewership goes up, so in the long run, it's good for IndyCar. And then IndyCar fans play the IndyCar game, then like the NASCAR game, and then viewership goes up for the NASCAR game, and the IndyCar game viewership. This is great for motorsports. To think about it, you have these two games and two sports just intersect because guess what? It's the same company making both games. These two are the top motorsports in the world. NASCAR being top, IndyCar just being a close second, I think. IndyCar with the Indianapolis 500 coming up this weekend, with many big races coming up this weekend, and big publicity. This is good for them. Now look, NASCAR, IndyCar collabing to come up with something. This is good. I mean, these two games, this will help the sports overall. NASCAR heat is ending. Thought that would be, sorry, dropped my notes. That would be big news for us to just discuss. But yeah, NASCAR heat is ending, and now we see that a new game is in, maybe to be done in IndyCar, and it could be IndyCar heat. No, I doubt it. I think it will be going the same route as NASCAR and be IndyCar 21. We'll see what happens with that, but I know many IndyCar fans will be happy to see an IndyCar event underway, because I know I would be. That's awesome news to hear. So NASCAR heat ended, but there will be a new game next year still. And IndyCar now thinking about having its own game. Exciting stuff all around. Really, the best news I think I've heard, though, was the fact that IndyCar, new game, and then, of course, NASCAR heat ending. Doesn't matter. I like NASCAR heat, but they're going to change it to NASCAR 21 probably anyway. To the next story, Jimmie Johnson unveiled the best throwback paint scheme I've seen so far. As I said, I showed you two of them in the last review video. Take a look at Jimmie Johnson's throwback. This is an insanely awesome throwback scheme. We're going to show you many angles of it. But just look at it. On the top, you have Richard Petty's 43, the colors of Richard Petty on the top. And then on the side, you have the 3 of Dale Earnhardt Sr. So those of you that don't know what throwback is, Labor Day weekend, NASCAR heads to Darlington Raceway every year and does a throwback weekend. Basically, everyone gets in the throwback scheme. Fans wear throwback things. The broadcast always has something throwback. They always have, their graphics are a little throwback for the broadcast, all of it. Their music is throwback, all of it is all throwback weekend style. But the biggest thing is the drivers' paint schemes that they normally run. We all know their sponsors are on their cars. They're their paint schemes. NASCAR drivers' paint schemes will change to honor one of the people in the past that have run really good with their old paint schemes or whatever. That's why it's throwback paint schemes. They're amazing. Something NASCAR has done, and they've really advertised through the year and really brought a lot of people's eyes to the Darlington weekend. To be honest, that's one of the reasons I really wasn't a fan of Darlington before the throwback schemes, really. I watch every race, but to be honest, that wasn't my favorite, Darlington. And I mean, to be honest, without the throwback weekend, the first other 2 races at Darlington, it kind of felt bland. It didn't feel like Darlington. As much as I keep hearing Darlington may get 2 races on the schedule for 2021. We'll talk about schedules again soon. But Jimmie Johnson's throwback scheme, take a look at it again. It's just an amazing scheme. Throwing it back to the 2 other 7-time champions in the sport of NASCAR. Jimmie Johnson is a 7-time champ. Dale Earnhardt Sr. is a 7-time champ. And Richard Petty is a 7-time champ. Those of you who watch and aren't motorsports fans, you've probably heard of those 3 people. They're biggest names in sports, not just motorsports, in sports. They are great. And for Jimmie Johnson to put a little piece of everybody in there, himself with his Ally sponsorship, Allies on the hood, which is normal, their regular sponsorships are normally on the hood. But you see the top of Richard Petty. This is not a put-together paint scheme, as we've seen some of the other throwbacks so far. It's not a completely put-together paint scheme, but it is a paint scheme that I would think that is best for Jimmie Johnson to do. His farewell paint scheme, this is the best one. On the side, Dale Earnhardt Sr., with his colors and with his slanted number and the scheme, the black, and the silver. I love that. The top, Richard Petty's bright blue with the number scheme of 48, 48 on the top, and the number schemes are different all the way around. It's just an amazing car. I like it. The top Richard Petty, the sides of the car, Dale Sr. Awesome car, awesome fin for Jimmie Johnson. I love this paint scheme. I think it's one of my favorites so far from the Daytona this whole weekend of the throwback paint schemes. Just to advertise, and next week is throwback weekend, so many of the schemes have been unveiled this week. I am not showing you all the schemes yet. I'm waiting for all the schemes to be announced, and before the Darlington weekend, you will have a video of us going through every throwback paint scheme that will be ran at Darlington. Plus, we will rate some of them. Maybe we'll give them some scores and see which one we like the best. So, Jimmie Johnson, though, with a very amazing throwback paint scheme. Kudos to him. Love that throwback. Just, it's awesome. Now to another Adam Stern story. This is awesome. Adam Stern, he's one of the best reporters from The Athletic. He's awesome. One-day shows in 2020, will they stay? Many NASCAR teams want the 2021 NASCAR schedule to insist of one-day shows. To be honest, I don't know who in their right minds would want one-day shows again, because I am one of those people that watches practice, watches qualifying, but I think it's not fair for many teams and to have just one-day shows. When playoffs, I'm not looking forward to the playoffs being a one-day show, because I think the qualifying should really be based off of, how the racing goes. Now we see Chase Elliott is on the pole for Dover because of this new format from NASCAR, and they put that in. Who had a terrible day, who had the greatest day, they put that in. Now we see some of the best drivers starting towards the back of the field in this thing. I saw Kyle Busch starting 22nd. He wouldn't have qualified 22nd at Dover. So if you guys want to keep seeing this happening, yes, Chase Elliott could have qualified first at Dover, don't get me wrong. But Kyle Busch probably wouldn't have qualified 22nd at Dover if he had any problems. Kevin Harvick wouldn't be in the back either if we had regular qualifying like we normally do. So to be dead honest with you guys, one-day shows, I don't see why NASCAR teams might want them. But one of the pros of having a one-day show is the fact that NASCAR teams and organizations, all of them, they spend less money on repairing cars and stuff like that, backup cars. They spend less money. On the other hand, a con is that we see many teams having problems off the gate, many teams struggling, many teams not going to get to qualify. And with this new formula, you crash, you're starting way in the back, because that's just how this new formula goes. You crash, you're just guaranteed not going to qualify in the 10th spot. So there's a con to that. I see why many people want to have this, and I don't know how many fans really want to have one-day shows. Another con is the fact of the matter that all NASCAR teams, starting from, I'm trying to think, most NASCAR teams who are just regularly qualifying, go onto the racetrack. They do their qualifying, and as I said before, if you don't get that correct, like if you don't qualify, if you race bad, you're going to start in the back, but in qualifying, you race bad, you can come back and do good and start towards the front. It is a doubleheader weekend at Dover, and they will be using this format at Dover, the same format, both days. So basically, Kyle Busch is starting 22nd today. I don't know where Harvick is starting, but I know he's starting in the back. Those two were to move, if those two were to move to the front and get fast laps, but they'll be stuck in traffic, so Chase Elliott will automatically get the advantage. I don't know how I feel about this formula. As I said before, it is definitely better than the random draw, but still, like, we need qualifying. That's the only thing better. So I would not like one-day shows to be in 2020, but fans do. I've heard many fans say one-day shows is the way to go. I'm not on that bandwagon. I don't like one-day shows. Many fans do, and many fans want the one-day shows. So as a person in NASCAR, I would definitely not want one-day shows, because look at camping as well. Many people come to NASCAR for the camping aspect of it. They won't get the camping aspect anymore because of this new format. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I mean, who knows what NASCAR will do in 2021, but this could be the reason we still don't have a 2021 NASCAR schedule. We'll see when we can get one. But right now, that is one of the reasons. NASCAR will have a new channel on this streaming platform. It is a big streaming platform in motorsports, as I said in the opening. It's not like a Hulu or Netflix, no. It is Motorsports TV. It's an online streaming platform where you can watch all sorts of motorsports. And NASCAR Cup Series Racing never had a channel on this, and NASCAR seems to be heading towards the entertainment side where they need to get people. Many people these days don't have cable, and more of a streaming platform or a streaming service is where they watch these races. So Motorsports TV, some people that are motorsports fans that are subscribed to there. Now you get a NASCAR channel. Advertisement goes on there. Good for NASCAR. Could up some ratings. I think it's when you have a motorsports TV streaming service out there, you have this channel out there, you may as well just say, yes, we have to jump on this. We have to get this up because this is just better. It's good advertisement for NASCAR, number one. Number two, it just helps the sport overall get more viewerships done and get more people viewing the races. That's just all I have to say on that. NASCAR new channel is on that. Motorsports TV is what it is. Finally, the last story of the day is another big story. As I said, Tony Stewart has really gotten into the news. A new driver joining the SRX series today. By the way, before we go to Tony Stewart, the SRX series is a brand new series. Ray Everman, Tony Stewart, they will combine. It's been announced a few weeks ago. And I want to announce today that the channel will cover SRX coverage. So we will talk about the racing series, probably do review videos on the SRX. It's summer 2020, I believe, and it will be on CBS. We'll see how that will work out, if I can watch both races. We'll see. It's a competitor for NASCAR, by the way, SRX. So we'll see what happens. But right now, it's only 9 races in the summer, all short tracks on CBS. CBS getting back into motorsports, which is awesome as well. Anyway, Tony Stewart wants NASCAR to reinstate Kyle Larson, who has been suspended and indefinitely and fired from Chip Ganassi Racing. Now, for Tony Stewart, he has talked a lot about this. He wants Kyle Larson to be back into the sport. And to be honest, I have a feeling that Kyle Larson may end up being signed to the 14 car. Just the more conversation that keeps coming around him and the 14, Clint Bowyer might go out and whatever, more and more conversation keeps coming up about Tony Stewart wanting Kyle Larson. I mean, yes, let's be honest, Kyle Larson is one of the most talented drivers out in free agency. But take a look at some other drivers out in free agency right now for Stewart-Haas, just in Stewart-Haas's department. Look, I know Eric Jones is on it, a free agency right now, but I would not talk about him because I don't think he'll end up in a Ford. I think he may, if he ends up in anything, it will be that 48 car, but who knows, he could. But anyway, Chase Briscoe, very talented driver inside the Xfinity Series that has dominated the Xfinity Series all year long. And we see the rookies that came up this year. They are amazing. Cole Custer, he's a lock. I think the 10 car is also a lock, but he has not signed a contract extension yet. But Eric Almirola brings in a lot of sponsorship, so Chase Briscoe won't have probably any of those two rides. And who's going to replace Kevin Harvick at this point? I think Kevin Harvick will be with Stewart-Haas Racing until the day he retires. And when he retires, which could be 5 years from now, I don't think Chase Briscoe wants to wait 5 years to get into a ride. I think by then he'll get offers from other teams and other organizations that will take him in. So Clint Bowyer is the one on the hot seat. He's been part of silly season a lot lately. Now, we see some dominoes fall into silly season, but this week has been no dominoes of silly season. No big news of silly season. So we have to put this rumor out here. So I guess Tony Stewart has his options. He has lots of options to talk about. But to be honest, he keeps going towards that 42 car. Yes, I think Kyle Larson will be a very good competitor. I said 42 car. He's no longer in the 42 car. I'm just so used to it. Sometimes I see the 42 car and I say, yeah, there's the Larson. No, that's Matt Kenseth. But to be honest, guys, that is, I think, where Tony Stewart is leaning more towards is the 40. He wants the Kyle Larson in his car. But NASCAR, as of now, seems like has not reinstated him. Of course, we know that he had to go through some training or whatever to be reinstated by NASCAR. And Kyle Larson has also said he would love a second chance in NASCAR, and he's done his work, all of that. We'll see what can happen in the future with this story. But right now, Tony Stewart has said he wants Kyle Larson in the 14 car next year. He wants him with Stewart-Haas. He wants NASCAR to reinstate him. And if you don't want the driver, why would you be advocating for him to be reinstated in the sport? To be honest, if you're a team owner and you don't want the driver in your camp and you're not wanting him, why would you want NASCAR to reinstate him with silly season just coming to an end? You know what I mean? That is something that I have to say, that Tony Stewart has interest in the 42 car. But Chase Briscoe in that 98 Xfinity Series team has talent as well, and for him, it will be easier for him to get into Stewart-Haas Racing like that. He could get in, sign a contract like that. No worries about sponsorship. But for Kyle Larson, sponsorship is going to be a worry, and getting in, it will be a little bit harder. We'll see what he wants to do. Gene Haas also makes those decisions, so we'll see what those guys want to do. But for now, stay updated with the channel for more silly season dominoes and how it falls, IndyCar coverage, SRX coverage, NASCAR coverage on the pedal, like always, all sporting coverage. Always subscribe to the channel because we're on the road for 50 subscribers. We want as many subscribers as we can get. So I announced road to 50. Let's get to there. We have currently 25. We're on the road to 50. Thank you all for watching, everyone. Have a fabulous day, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.